Hello? Is anyone there? This is Grimm Grinner on all channels.
Infected attacks rampant in the GAT. The government failed. Unified in the corporation.
Have a safe day.
Desolation. An endless wasteland.
Nothing but static.
Searching for a shred of hope.
Welcome to the wastes.
Agent Farah, reporting on encounter with target R-77. Dispatched by Agent Zeta as part of a cleanse mission. Squad document was terminated. Full report to follow. This will be my last log. Good morning, Wasteland. This is Grimm Grinner transmitting on all safe and corporation-free channels with my morning brew here in the bunker. And boy, do I have some stuff to report over the static for you all today. I had what I think could be the most interesting creep encounter in a long while the other day, while running a job on behalf of the historian. That job might be its own story, but the squad I came across is what I want to talk about today. Squad M-1.16125 was sent to Marker 53 in search of targets related to the Echo Society. Elites Wick, Flack, and Thresh were alongside, with specific instructions to identify and claim any old world tech and return with it. No survivors. I was assigned to the squad due to feral activity in the area to keep our agents safe from unpredictable threats. Unfortunately, the threat involved was not infected. So for context, I picked up a job from the historian to bring some spare supplies and tech from his museum of sorts to a small camp of Echo Society members. This job was going to be tricky, and I was recommended that navigating this solo might be a safer option, since this camp was not just in corporate territory, but right near a feral nest that hasn't been cleared due to the sheer number of them. Time was ticking on this one, and RG was also pretty sure there was a chance some creeps might know about the supply drop. Word of any rebel activity other than these hoarders of tech has been light of late, so no other patrols were sent to deal with this cleanse. Agent Zeta is currently investigating reports that R-77 and associates have been sighted frequenting outposts like the Cap Stash and Falls Edge lately, so intelligence resources have been focused in that part of the region, as opposed to within our borders. Squad M-1.16125 made our way to the known drop point, where the Echo Society members were spotted. Feral activity was less than expected, so I stayed with the vehicle where the elites got into position. Of course, getting to the drop point was its own barrel of fun, since navigating around feral nests can be tricky with a loud-as-fuck ATV. The cost of being able to get around easier elsewhere, I guess. At any rate, I lucked out coming from off-road, since I got to get the drop on some creeps that thought they would try to get the drop on this little supply handoff. Don't know what their intent was, but I wasn't about to let them try anything. Luckily, my position with the patrol vehicle meant I was able to notice an unknown vehicle pull up from off-road near our location. Unfortunately, the comms from my location to the other agents were suffering interference. I couldn't warn the other agents of the rebel threat before it was upon them. Taking out the elites was never going to be stealthy, since the first one I took out would have been noticeable, but I've been getting a bit better about covering my position at least, and made sure I had some sort of sight line to the other ones before taking the shot. What was weird to me was the agent that was still up with their car, though. R-77 took out the other three agents with a precision that has not been seen from him in any other encounters. I almost doubted that it was him until noticing the goggles looking in my direction. Despite the high ground, I made the decision to leave the vehicle behind before attempting to take on R-77 myself. With the heightened sense and attack capabilities, I determined I would be able to take on R-77 hand-to-hand more effectively than at range. What I didn't expect was to see that agent move the way they did, almost like a feral. Then it hit me that whoever it was coming at me may be exactly that, a feral, not an agent at all. Can't really be surprised. With the nests around, they might have attacked the last agent or something. Boy, was I wrong. Based on simulations run at Facility 31, I had a good idea of what R-77's fight patterns would be. Ranged on approach, and when that failed, he would move to dodging and attempting to get in close with a variety of knives. This was like no other thing I've seen out there, Wasteland. An agent that seemed like they were I don't know, part feral? Like they had somehow been infected, or like half-turned, or like maybe they did something at the tower and had learned to control ferals at long last. They moved fast and came at me in such a way I wouldn't have been able to get a hit in even if I had tried to shoot at them. So I readied myself for an attack. R-77 changed the pattern just slightly, readying himself for close combat instead of any attempts at firing on me. Unfortunately, this threw me off just enough to get pause. It looked like that took them by surprise, since they came up short of a first strike, which allowed me to get the upper hand faster than I expected. R-77 took advantage of that moment to fight with a fury matching that of my fellow tested subjects, making me think for almost a moment that I had been deceived, and that one of the nearby nests had woken up, and he had disguised one. But it was him, the target that has eluded Agent Zeta at every turn. To say I was terrified fighting a corporate feral is putting it lightly, and that's saying a lot, all things considered. But I wasn't about to let myself get bit. That is when something really interesting happened. Despite my skills in combat, and enhanced strength from the virus in my system, I had to retreat back to the patrol vehicle to try and escape and make a proper report on the failed mission. Apparently, R-77 accounted for this, as some of his accomplices sabotaged the car. Being unable to escape with speed, I made my way as close as possible to a safe house, stopping just briefly in some ruins to record and transmit this report. I fear this may be the last log I submit unless found in time. This has been Agent F-001, aka Farah, signing off. Have a safe day. Turns out, this agent, who I now know as Farah, has been a pet project of the corporations ever since they were found wandering half dead. Kept at a facility they only know as Facility 31, corporate black site, only findable by those in the know. You know, corporate scientists, Agent Zeta themselves. They all ran some sort of tests. You see, Farah was bit by some ferals out there, but didn't turn. Or rather, has been excruciatingly slowly turning over the course of a few years now. Something in their blood is resistant to the virus. I don't know what, but unfortunately, their file is still at Facility 31, meaning any details of exactly what Zeta and the Corps wanted to do with them are locked away for the foreseeable future. How do I know all this? They surrendered. One single hit with the knuckle dusters I picked up last time I passed through Fall's Edge, and they backed down and spoke to me, telling me they wanted help getting away. They apparently requested this mission with the hopes that they would encounter me. Of course, I had a bit of trouble believing it, but I also would have never expected someone who was part feral and still able to form words. So, I tied them up and told them to sit tight while I finished my courier job, and we had a chat where they told me everything. Now, I've been tricked before, but I couldn't help but feel like Farah is sincerely someone in need of help. They helped me trash the car. We made our way to the med bay to get some things and leave a message with Nanny Bear to come and check them out in Haven at the earliest chance, since whatever is in their blood could be helpful in figuring out what caused the feral virus in the first place. That came with the promise that this would just be as simple as an old world doctor's appointment, nothing more. And that once we've taken a little bit of blood, they are free to go wherever and do whatever they want. No more being a lab rat in the hands of those fucking corporations. So, yeah. It's been the last few days for me, Wasteland. It's got me really wondering how many other poor folks are locked up in corporate facilities, being put through bullshit in the name of wanting to control all of us out there. At least I've got another freed soul out here, and at the end of the day, I'm willing to count that as a win. This has been Grimm Grinner on all channels. Gonna go cash in the badges of those other agents and see some friendly faces about going on a scavenge run or something. See you in the wastes.
Welcome to the Waste is a Wasteland podcast brought to you by Edward Grimm Grinner Hutchinson, but made possible by Wastelanders like you. If you'd like to support the show in a fun way or get some merch, check me out on Patreon or on Etsy. The links to both of those, as well as all my social media, can be found at linktree.com/welcome to the Wastes.